We have a fairly complete list of all our clergy. It starts, as you can see, in 1325. That's when you, by law, had to have a record of who your rector was. But I suspect that there was 200 years of the church before that. But what is so touching here is, here in 1348, that's when the Black Death came to England. And half the population died. And probably this village shrank by at least half. And then the plague comes back in 1417, and 1418, 1419, 1419, we lose our clergy. They were here, they didn't run away. They stayed and they looked after their congregations, and many of them died, and they would have all been buried on the north side of the church, because we weren't sure, was the Black Death just a dreadful thing, or was it the judgment of God because we were such sinners? And so we hedged our bets and we buried the dead on that side in the belief that God would decide whether they were saved or not. But I find that touching. Roger Colworth, John Falston, John Haileksbury, and before that, John Ely, who'd been here, they died because they stayed with their people. And the village probably died for about 100 years. And it moved from the fields over there to be gathered around here. I find that very moving. What is very interesting is we don't really know what happened in the Reformation. So in 1534, Henry VIII makes himself the head of the church. We cut off from the Pope. So William Dimmock comes in 1510, would have been a Catholic priest. He would have done all the Catholic rituals. Then we have this gap. There's a Nicholas Pentamon, but no date. And the next date we get is Robert Cook in 1589. By that time, we've gone through Henry VIII, we've gone through Edward VI, and his utter everything decorative, every statue. All the altars would have been destroyed in his time, all the stained glass window would have been destroyed. Then Mary comes back. Bloody Mary, as she unfortunately gets known. She reintroduces Catholicism, and for 5 years we have Catholic services again, and pilgrimages and shrines and all the rest of it. And then Elizabeth comes in 1558, and there's a very famous phrase which was said about her. She didn't say it, was said about her. Her father had got rid of the Pope and all that connection. Her sister had tried to put it back in. Her brother had destroyed everything that was to do with ritual. What was she going to do? And she just basically said, I am not going to open a window into someone's heart. I just ask you to be good Christians. And she brought a sort of stability back. But whatever else was happening here, we had a Catholic priest, and then we had an Anglican priest. And the whole of that tumultuous history, we drew a curtain over. And then William Parson, 1635, good Puritan, sure about that because he would have got rid of all this papist stuff as well. He dies, and William Rouse comes in 1660. He would have been a Puritan. He comes believing Charles II when he says, you can continue to be practicing and preaching in the way that you've done. But then he's asked to conform, to agree to bishops, to agree to the Book of Common Prayer, and he says, no, I'm not going to conform. And so he goes. And we get an Anglican priest back in 1661, John Hayne. He comes in, and that priest, William Rouse, I am sure, goes up and founds a nonconformist community on the top of the hill over there, and the church splits.